everyone, welcome to Naomi's Bookshelf and welcome to another round of TBR Clue. In case you don't know what TBR Clue is, it's just a game I use to pick my books. It will be hopefully helping me select some nonfiction books because I am doing nonfiction in November. I'm also going to be doing Readathon and I am going to wing it essentially. I don't have a set TBR for that. I'm going to try with one book and I'll just see how much I can get done throughout the month. I'll leave the links to all of those hosts down below. But let's get into how I did last month so we can move forward into our TBR game. So in case you are new here, I have to read the prompt in order to reveal cards. So the cards that pop up on screen are the cards I have revealed. So the first room was the hall and I got Dr. Orchid or Mrs. White, however you want to interpret that. And I read The Pirate's Wife, which is an arc, and it is about a woman who had 4 husbands. Mrs. White had 5, according to lore, I believe. So I figured that was a decent enough connection. I did read it. Then in the lounge, we got a cozy mystery, which I read The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. In the dining room, we had The Prompt of Miss White, and I read The Secret Adversary, as there are adaptations, but also espionage, single tumpets at that time. I figured it all worked. In the kitchen, we got A Random Country, which happened to be Ireland, and so I read the poetry of Oscar Wilde. In the ballroom, we got The Study, and this is Tutankhamun's trumpet, so 100 items from his tomb, I believe is the title. It's a really long one title. It's an arc, and it was great. In the conservatory, we got The Room of the Ballroom, and I put in The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. I did read it. It is about a woman who is an ambassador, so she goes to some ball functions, and I thought it might work out for that. For the billiards room, we got Out of My Comfort Zone, and I read Dracula for that. I have a whole vlog. I will link it in case you want to check out my chapter by chapter thoughts. For the library, I had a seasonal read, and I picked The Woman in White, which was quite seasonally appropriate, and I did read it. And for the study, I got Diverse, and I read The Complete Persepolis, which is a graphic novel memoir about a woman from Iran. So those were all the rooms. We revealed all the cards, so we're going to be having an easy month, and I get my reward. So my official guess is Miss Scarlet with the revolver in the library. It should be pretty clear because I revealed all the rooms. So there's the library, here's the revolver, and here is Miss Scarlet. So I get my reward, which is a free spin off of the spinner wheel. I've already done it because I knew I would get it. So as you can see, it is a challenge book, which sounds bad, but it's not. It's a book that is for one of my yearly challenges or yearly goals, like Readathon or Book Covered Book Club or Nonfiction November could be challenge books. So something like that, a challenge for myself. So it is a nice, easy prompt, and I can switch it with any one of the 8 or 9 I pull up. So let's get into that. After we do this. I remembered. Wrong jar. One second. This jar. Okay. Let's see what authors I pull out this month. I would like to pull out some nonfiction authors, but we'll see what we get. Henrik Ibsen. This is a playwright. That's going to work out quite well, actually. I will put that down here so I don't lose it. And one more. I have 2 in my hand. I don't know what this one is yet. Jonathan Swift. Ooh, I am excited for those 2. Let me grab them. I'm actually going to put Henrik Ibsen back in because I have scoured my shelves. I cannot find it. My copy, I know I own some plays of his, but honestly, I guess my books are such a disaster. That last month's problem, I did not rectify it anyway. We're going to go through. Pick another one. Hopefully I can have a physical copy to read from. Bram Stoker. I finished Dracula this month. Ernest Hemingway. Okay, I think I have him accessible. So I do have an Ernest Hemingway book accessible, which is For the Bells Toll. I honestly never planned on reading this. I found it because it was in this edition. I bought it. I found it at used, like a charity shop kind of thing. So, yeah, set in 1937. It's about the Spanish Civil War. All right. It's one of the great novels about war. Just what I'm wanting. The other book I got is one that I'm much more excited about, which is Gulliver's Travels. I obviously know some of it, but I've never read the book. So this is by Jonathan Swift. This is my first pull that I took. And yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm tentative about this one, but I'm glad I have 2 physical copies I can read from until I find my Henrik Ibsen book. So we are going to get the cards ready. I don't have any buddy reads or book club books this month, which is quite a surprise, as normally I have at least something, but not this month. So I will be reading whatever I want for the majority of the month. I am planning to go, not planning, I am going to the Bahamas for Christmas to visit my parents. They are missionaries there, and I am going to be flying down. So I'm hoping to read some Bahama books as well while I'm like ramping up to go and see them. I also have Nonfiction November books, and like I said before, Readathon, which I'm going to wing it. So I'm not sure what this month's gonna look like, but I'm excited for a very slow month with reading, or low-key month with reading, because honestly, I can't even express how exhausted I am from my work situation with a coworker out. And yeah, it's been nuts, and I don't have time to read, so I'm very thankful to have a slow month. Let's get into setting up the board and seeing what our prompts will be. Sorry for the lazy shuffling. Here we go. Prompt number 1 is an in real life recommendation. So for the first prompt, which was an in real life recommendation, IRL rec, I'm gonna go with The Other Bennett Sister. Now, I'm not promising to read this. I am not. I know this one has been recommended to me by several people, but especially my cousin. So that's an in real life recommendation. And I feel like I have a struggle with Jane Austen retellings. The problem I have with them is that typically I'm reading them in July when I feel forced to read Jane Austen stuff, even though I should read Jane Austen all year long. So I'm trying to read this outside of that 31-day window, and hopefully I can really sink my teeth in. I did buy this because, like, physically, because my cousin told me I will love it, and I trust her. I just need to actually read it. So this is not a promise, but I'm going to try to read The Other Bennett Sister this month. For the lounge, we have Similar to a Favorite. The next one was Similar to a Favorite. Now, for this one, I'm gonna go with middle grade fantasy, but it is shelved as historical fiction. So I'm gonna go with that. It's called The Lost Dreamer. It's by Liz Herta, and this one I believe is set in ancient Mexico from kind of what I gathered. It didn't really say, like, South America probably, if not Mexico, but it's about a culture where these people have, what is it, seekers or not. Let me read the synopsis. This is gonna be easier. So this says, it's a lush, immersive debut fantasy about a group of women whose way of life is threatened by a new king. A fierce celebration of community, sisterhood, and finding our power. So Indra is a dreamer, descended from a long line of seers, able to see beyond reality. She carries the rare gift of dreaming truth. But when the beloved king dies, his son has no respect for this time-honored tradition. King Alkin wants an opportunity to bring the dreamers to a permanent end, an opportunity Adair will give him if he discovers the 2 secrets she's keeping secret. As the violent change shakes Adair's world to its core, she's forced to make an impossible choice: fight for her home or fight to survive. So I don't know much more. There is a bit more on here, but I don't want to get too deep into it. So it is middle grade fantasy, but it's set in the past and it's shelved as historical fiction. This is going to be my starting point for Readathon. I don't know where it's going to take me, but it's my starting point. So hopefully I can find some really good books after that, and I'm just going to wing it. So there you go, The Lost Dreamer. Dining room is a thriller. The next one is a thriller. You're getting a sneak peek of the book, a thriller. And for this one, I didn't really want to read anything super thriller-ish. So I'm going with a Jamie Jo Wright book, which is a thriller in some ways, but I have read this one before and I'm very excited. So if I don't finish The Lost Dreamer, this will be my starting point for Readathon. This is The Souls of Lost Lake. This one is about a girl who goes missing in our present timeline, and it is about a camp that's trying to find her. And then the previous timeline is about Ava, who, when she was found after her family was brutally murdered, she was found dragging a bloody axe and covered in blood. And so everyone doesn't know if she did it or not. She is, I believe, mute, and I believe, she never speaks. So it's something of a secret. And I really loved this one. I loved how it took a little detour from Jamie Jo Wright's normal books. So this is gonna be my other starting point if Lost Dreamer does not work. Kitchen is 1900s. The next one was 1900s. Now for 1900s, I'm going to go with one of my pulls, which is For Whom the Bell Tolls. So this one, I mean, I honestly didn't check, but I'm positive that Ernest Hemingway is dead before 2000. And this book was set in 1937, so it couldn't have been written in 1800s. So I'm not going to waste my time. I'm sorry. This one, like I said, I don't know anything about. It's about Civil War, the Spanish Civil War. And I don't know. I'm going to read my first ever Emerson. Let me try this again. I'm going to read my first ever Ernest Hemingway book. And I am apprehensive about the size. And I haven't had a great time with American classics. But hopefully it's a success. Ballroom is poetry. The next one was poetry. Now for poetry, I'm going to be picking up one of these little collections I have been saving for my poetry prompt, which is, let me just get the sticker off first. One second. There we go. It is The Love Poems of Rumi. Now, Rumi, this one is about Rumi, who is a Persian mythic poet. So it's his love poems. This one's translated by Nadir Kalali, and I am excited to pick this one up. I have really enjoyed reading ancient poetry when my poetry prompt comes up. So I'm going to be flying through this one, I'm sure. It's not overly long, but it is long enough. And it's like 127 pages, it says, 28. And so it looks like a pretty simple style of poetry. Hopefully ones that I can understand and get in with because I'm not a massive poet, but I'm learning. So yeah, excited to add this. Conservatory is 1800s. The next one was 1800s. Now this is where I am going to use my swap. Put that back in the West Egg mug. This is my Great Gatsby mug, which I'm using currently. From Bookishly. So I will be putting that one back in. We can pull it out in the future, but because I successfully guessed everything, I get to switch it out for the challenge book. So my challenge book is going to be Murder is Easy. This one's by Agatha Christie. This fulfills several prompts for me. So this fulfills the Read Christie 2022 prompt, which is about a book set with trains. Now, this cover doesn't show trains, but other covers have, and I believe it starts with a woman on a train, and I'm gonna count that. It includes train travel in some way. But the other one it counts for is the book covered book club, which is to have something that's breaking or shattering on the cover, and this is here. I was going to be reading Breaking the Rock. I cannot find my copy. I'm sorry. I'm a mess of a booktuber. My books aren't a disaster, apparently, and someone keeps stealing them. Maybe it's a ghost. Anyways, this will count for the book covered book club as the gravestone is breaking. To my understanding, this one's about a serial killer, and somehow, like, it starts on a train. The back says it's also about someone who becomes a victim of a hit and run. This is a Superintendent Battle book. This is book number 4 of his 5 novels, but I don't think he plays much of a role in it, which is sad for me, but okay. So yes, this is going to be my challenge book because it fits several challenges. Billiards Room is BookTube Buy. For the next one of BookTube Buy, I'm gonna go with a Christmas book. I was looking at my shelves or looking at the pile, more like, because they all have to get rearranged, but I was looking at them thinking, what book did I buy because of BookTube? And I instantly thought of this one. It was my book outlet haul, and it is The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. I love the movie. It's called The Christmas, I don't remember now. It's been a month. But anyways, I love the movie that this is like, where Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz switch houses. You know what I'm talking about. And so The Holiday Swap is one that I saw last year on BookTube, and I saw everyone reading it, and I was like, I want to read it. So I saw it on Book Outlet and I grabbed it. This one is about two sisters who switch homes, and I think it's very similar to the movie, and I hope it's going to be the perfect thing to get me into the Christmas spirit. This will count for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. The challenge is to read a comfy or cozy or nostalgic book. And one, I love this trope, but two, it's definitely cozy for me to read Christmas books. I love reading Christmas books any time of the year. So this is going to be a cozy read for me. So excited to pick this one up for BookTube by. Library is a clue-like character. The next one is a clue-like character, sorry. And for that one, I'm gonna go with one that is, I don't know. I'm like, this is one of the books I wanted to read because I'm going to the Bahamas. So I decided that this is very much like a Mr. Body kind of person. And it feels like it might be a real clue life book, which is Murder Medias, so the subtitle is A Millionaire, His Gold Mine, and a Strange Death on an Island Paradise by Charlotte Gray. So this one, I figured, Mr. Body is like a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, however you want to say it. And this guy dies in his home. I figured that's nothing, but there can be much more like a clue-like character in embodiment. So I'm gonna go with this one. This one takes place in the Bahamas. I believe that's where the murder happened. So I'm excited to get to this one for that purpose. Also for Nonfiction November. This is one of my Nonfiction November books, and it is the book of the element, because gold is an element, and King Midas is very much attached to gold. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm excited to pick this one up and see what it's all about. And last one is more than 500 pages. The last one is more than 500 pages. So for that one, I will be reading an Agatha Christie autobiography. So this is her book. It is quite large, but I was thankful that it was over 500 pages because I had nothing else that I was wanting to read that was over 500. So the actual amount of pages is like 555 or 556, but there is an author's note that ends on page 551. So there's page 550 and it ends on here. So definitely over 500 pages. I'm excited to read her autobiography. I've wanted to for a while, and now I just actually need to do it. So this is going to be a very exciting read for me. So that is my official TBR Clue suggestions list for myself. But we are going to go over Nonfiction November now. And we might as well just quickly mention Gulliver's Travels, which is also on my TBR. So we'll put that one second. Okay, so for the 4 buzzwords that we are supposed to be going off of, like I said, this one is element because of the gold aspect. Then for record, I am going with Homework by Julie Andrews. This is one that I own on audio, so I'm probably going to listen to it, but I figure like she's a singer, an actor, a lot of her life is on record. This is a memoir. It all works for record. And I'm excited to actually listen to her memoir about like joining Hollywood and how it took to get there. So yeah, very excited for Homework. Then for Borders, I'm going to reread The Dark Queens by Shelley Puack. This one is about these 2 sisters-in-law who really hated each other's guts back in like the 600s. So this is about that dark ages and how they tried to take over the thrones of their husbands, children, but also how they really ruled with an iron fist. And it is so interesting. I loved reading it the first time. It got an automatic 5 stars. So I wanted to reread it for this time. And I'm going to put with Borders because Borders are changing constantly during this time and era, so we're gonna go with this one. The last one is going to be for Secret. So this is a Private Lives of the Tudors. This is my planned one. And it even says in the subtitle, Uncovering the Secrets of Britain's Greatest Dynasty. So I'm excited. This one's by Tracy Borman. I think that this one could be really interesting for that. It's just under 500 pages. And we had a few of those and I was very sad about that. But this one will be an interesting look at the Tudors, I believe. I also have an arc which is about medieval mistresses, and I feel like that could fit for Secret because, I don't know, an unspoken open secret kind of idea. But this is my official one off of my shelves I'm going to try to get to. So that should be a good amount of books, I think. And with the craziness that I am expecting for November at work, I don't want too much more. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below about what you'll be reading for Nonfiction November, for Readathon, or just what you're reading in general. I don't know about you, but I feel the pressure to finish off my goals, which is bonus. So we'll see how that goes. But I'd love to hear what you'll be reading in November. So thank you so much for watching, like I said, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.